We have been fighting in Zone 5 like crazy with my second account at 2359, and we've gotten a chance to unlock Achilles, and oh boy, he's just as good as advertised. He's just as good as we thought he was going to be. People who are using Achilles are crushing it, and you can see here that we are running these things down and chasing and back and forth and doing all the things. We've got all the marches. We've got all the reports to show everybody how these things really performed with Achilles. And we've even got a couple of reports of Hector. And we'll talk about getting more of those down the line in the next zone when I actually get Hector on my Garrison account here. So stick around while we go through this and what performed well and how we did in this Zone 5. Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chadsky. You're looking live right here. We are in Zone 5 fighting, and we are fighting back and forth, going through. We have been hammering the marches. We have been rolling all these different marches. This is what I'm going. I do 6 marches on this account, and this is what we want to talk about, okay? Of course, Chen and Zuge, this is in Orleans KVK. So in Orleans KVK, you have these auxiliary skills. Now, not too much of a difference in Zone 5 because you only get one skill and you only got a handful of commanders that can use it. But there are some ways to be able to do this. Like here, I'm using the old Martel skill, 60% of stats for my Ragnar Phillip. For my, let me see here, for my BQ that I've been running with Phillip, and I'll switch those up around. I'll run Ragnar with CPO sometimes, and I'll run BQ with Luce or BQ with Phillip. So I'll switch those around. So you can see I've got the Pyrrhus skill on this one, and I'm running Huo with Joan, but I've been switching things up. Sometimes I run Huo with Joan, and when I do, I run Arthur with Achilles. Achilles, we've just got, this is on my second account. I cannot emphasize that enough because I don't have like the craziest of meta stuff on my second account. So it's very realistic to what other people have. And so with my Arthur Achilles, I will run Huo Joan. However, I switch that up. And I'll show you some reports and I'll show you some different ways that I actually ran Huo with Arthur to make that more powerful. And then I brought in Atilla, and I ran Atilla with Achilles, and I ran the Delta. And so the other march I like to run, obviously here, Luce BQ. I'll run Luce with Alex on this. And so I'll do a bunch of different things. I'm going to show you these reports and show you kind of how this thing played out. But first and foremost, let me just come in here and show you guys. I had my buddy Nobody. That's his name, Mr. Nobody. I had him send me some reports of some things, and I had Andre. Andre's in, he used to be in 2377. He's here with me in 2359, and he actually ran a whole bunch of Attilas with Achilles. And the reports he's getting are pretty insane. Okay, what he's able to do with Atilla and Achilles. All right, now his stuff's out of control, like really, really good. It's a lot like my main. On my account, for what I tracked for Report Manager, I don't have the Atilla stuff like he has. But you can see there's some serious viability, like we talked about with Atilla and Achilles. I mean, this march went all the way down to 70K. So obviously he's fighting a whole bunch of people. He's running it down, doing different things, having success. Well, then he also runs Arthur with Achilles. And Arthur Achilles does crazy stuff. Like just crazy stuff. I am seeing people all over the place running Arthur and Achilles. I saw the same type of reports. I'm hitting at about 170% clip with Arthur and Achilles, and it is a phenomenal march. And so from this, let's take a look here at some of the things that I want to show you. First and foremost, I want to show you the gear I run on my BQ. Okay, I got it on Gorgo now, but this is my BQ gear. Okay, it is tiered up, level 5, everything, except I have the boots here, tier 2 on the boots, level 5 on the accessories, level 5 on the KVK helmet. I don't have the hammer to level 5 yet. Again, this is my second account, but it's almost as good as it can get. The one thing that my pincer does have is a ton of health, which is really, really good for trades. It's really good for BQ in the field. Okay, well, I got it on Gorgo now because I'm garrisoning, but from there, I just want to give you a discrepancy because my BQ Luce march is always going to be my best march with this account. My Cav stuff is pretty good. I've got crits, but it's all tier 1 stuff. No crits on the accessory. Okay, my other calf set, I'm missing some crits here on my weapon, of course, and everything's tier 1. Same thing with my archers, okay? Now, Chin is doing amazing. I've got some crits, but it's all really tier 1. Nothing crazy with my archer gear. And then my second set and my third set of infantry gear is pretty cracked. It's pretty good. And so from there, let me just put this on here. From there, we've got some things that we like to do. This is my infantry account. It's how I roll this thing, okay? On my Delta that I ran with Achilles, this is what I'm running. I'm running Steel Skin and Butterfly, and then I've got the rares over here on these. So this is really good, but it's not like super cracked, right? Butterfly is the most important thing that you want, and so I'm just giving you that discrepancy that between my BQ set and my Arthur set or my Delta set, there it's definitely different. Same thing with my Chin, it's definitely different. So these are good marches, but compared to my BQ and my pincer stuff on my infantry account here, it's not near as good. So with that being said, let me come in here and show you. These are the reports that we saw, and this is kind of how this worked out. If you see here, like this is a ton of fighting, like thousands and thousands of battles, okay? You can see my BQ Luce is always going to be my best march. I mean, it is trading at a massive clip. But if you see how close my Arthur, now that question mark, just so people know, on Cuba's Mike Report Manager, that question mark is Achilles. They haven't loaded that in yet. They haven't done another update with that yet. So it is giving us a question mark for Achilles. But you can see that thing is almost trading as well. Holy cow. And you saw the gear on it. It's nowhere near my infantry stuff, but Arthur and Achilles doing crazy work. Then I've got Chen and Zuge really doing well. Then I've got BQ and Wallace, and I'll run this when I've got a Garrison going. And then look at this. My Attila with Achilles is it. Now I'm running Delta on that, the same setup I have on Arthur, and it's doing really well, but not as good as Arthur and Achilles, which is what we kind of were forecasting. We kind of saw that. Like Arthur Achilles is going to be out of this world. And then Attila Achilles is another viable option. Now, the reason why that works is because at the very bottom you see here, at the bottom you see my Huo with Arthur. That at least trades even. When I was running Huo with Joan, I am like 80%. I'm way negative. So the discrepancy is that when I run Arthur with Achilles and I run Huo and Joan, I'm going to have a weak march and I'm going to have a super strong march. If I run Attila Achilles and then I run a Huo with Arthur and move Arthur behind Huo, then I've got an average march for Huo and Arthur, and I've got a really good march for Attila and Achilles. So that's how I ran it. These is what the marches do. And if you see that Ragnar and Philip, that thing is awesome. Ragnar and Philip, people are always asking now, like, hey, what do I do with these combo commanders if I have to move Philip away from Arthur? What do I do? I always tell people, get CPO off the field. Get him off the field. Run your Ragnar with Philip. It runs so much better. The synergies there are just really good. It's just a really good, tanky, good damage, good buffing. It does a lot of good things together. And so I've got my Luce Alex march down there. It probably would have done better, but I got my war set of gear and I got my second pincer set on it, so it didn't quite do well. Plus, in this zone, for anybody that doesn't know, we are fighting 27-28 in this zone. This is a live look at this zone right now. I got markers up and everything, but we had an awful zone opening. In fact, it's really hard because they came out of this camp over here and they had their passes right here and right here. So they get an advantage on the territory. Our passes are up here in the corner. So now we're starting to overwhelm them a little bit. Got to give a lot of credit to 27-28 and their campmates. Black Mamba's over there. He runs the Mega Minion account. It is crazy how well they are doing. And so we are now burning through forts, which is a headache. But at least we're getting a lot of fighting, a lot of field fighting and having fun with it. And we're going. And so from that standpoint, that gives you an idea of how this thing is working out. So from there, let me show you some other reports that we saw with Arthur and Achilles. And the reason why I wanted to show these is because from this, you're getting other people. Like, there's all kinds of reports, and you can go into my Discord. The Discord link is in the description, and you can see my reports channel. People are throwing up reports everywhere. And even running this thing down where there's no troops left, look at how that's trading. I mean, this guy was doing some crazy stuff with his Arthur and Achilles. Everybody's seeing massive reports. And the one thing I would say, because I kept getting asked in the streams I was running, hey, how's Achilles doing? And I said, just go ask anybody who's expertise Achilles, because I have not seen one person who has Achilles expertise that says it's an awful march. They all say, collectively, exclusively all saying, oh my God, it's broken. Like, the reports I'm getting are crazy with Arthur and Achilles. People are running Achilles with Philip. People are running Achilles behind Attila, like I showed you how Andre was doing it and how I was doing it. And so it makes for a lot of different scenarios and the different things that we could do. And so that kind of shows you how this worked. Now, from there, we got to look at our boy Hector. And this was a commander that last night I got maxed, or yesterday pretty much at a specific time. So I went ahead and put the heads into this dude, and I'm going to be able to run the garrison on him nonstop. Now, I've got some reports specifically from yesterday, and this dude is fantastic. I'm going to get a chance to run him in the field. I'm going to get a chance to run him in garrison. I'm going to run the heck out of him. But what we've already seen on this guy when it comes to his garrison is pretty crazy. And so from there, let me come back over here to the screenshots. I'm going to put a couple of rallies up that were sent to me. This is Casso in 1660, an OG, right? Casso was running this thing and just crushing a couple of rallies. And you can see here, this garrison, it actually ran all the way down to where it's got 32K troops, and it's still doing that to a rally. There's another one here against an Attila Subutai that's a pretty good Attila Subutai, but it's crushing that particular, let me pull it up here so you can see. It is crushing that particular rally. It ran the rally, I think, all the way down, but from there, you can see that there is some crazy viability when it comes to Hector and Garrison. Honestly, this is against R3 Ad Y. Okay, R3 Addy, it's a dude I reached out to, and you can see Casso against this. Now, if you look at the amount of deads and severely wounded, it is so much more than the deads on the rally, and that means it's just being filled with farms, okay? And so this trade's positive. And of course, anytime we see a Hector Toku, or now with a Hector, or I'm sorry, a Gorgo Toku, and now with a Gorgo Hector, you want to trade like 2-to-1 against an Attila Subutai. So I asked Casso, I was like, what's going on with this particular rally? And Casso confirmed to me, hey, we ran the flag all the way down. It was getting swarmed. It traded positive on the rally. It traded pretty positive overall. You can see at the top, the kill points to 20.5 million to 17.7 million. And then I was like, well, what's going on with this? What's going on with this rally? And Casso confirmed this was my mixed garrison. Okay, let me put that into perspective for people. You're telling me this is a farm-filled mixed garrison that ran it down to burn against a bona fide Attila Subutai, and it traded positive? They were like, yeah. I was like, show me. So they sent it to me, and yeah, no, it's got calves and archers all up in that thing. And so from that standpoint, I was like, holy cow, Hector is cooking. Honestly, just kind of like we saw, when we ran those tests, we went super in depth on them. We went super in depth on the battle logs of the test, how he works, how he figures it out. And this is the proclamation I need to make, especially when it comes to running mixed, okay? This guy is performing with monotroop type as well as kind of we tested. Like, it's just kind of wrecking everything that it goes against, especially if it's being filled at all. And then in a mixed, like, this has to be said. We haven't had the potential for a mixed garrison, okay? We haven't had the potential for a mixed garrison with infantry since Xeno YSS. That used to be the greatest garrison in the game. And you could run it mixed, you could run it with infantry, you could go infantry focused with a little bit of mixed in there. You do it however you want it. But with Gorgo now, with Gorgo and Hector, we now have an opportunity to where we can go get back to the infantry mixed garrison. And that's what makes this thing so lethal. If we can run an infantry mixed garrison, we got Hera, and we would run Hera with Gorgo, right? I mean, we'd run Hera with Gorgo all the time. We'd run these two all the time. Well, it's still kind of disjointed. Gorgo's a smite commander. Hera is a skill damage commander, but Hera puts up a lot of shields, and that's got good synergy with Gorgo. However, that's back when we had arch formation. So the garrison was good, but it started to get wrecked by rallies really fast, okay? And honestly, Hera hasn't been any good, honestly, for the past year. You run any kind of mixed with Hera, and good rallies are going to just crush it. I've been crushing Hera for a while with my rallies, a long time. So we don't really have an infantry with mixed garrison to run until now. Oh boy, this dude now, you run him with mixed, we are chilling. And just too much damage, y'all. The smite damage is there. You start running the gear that you put on Gorgo up to crit. You start running the pincer formation with all the smite damage and the smite enhancers and the normal damage bonuses that Hector gives. It's just going to crush things. And I know, hey, we've got Toku, but you know, from that standpoint, Toku is given infantry bonuses. So if you run him anything with any other troop type other than infantry, you're going to lose out on some of those bonuses. So if Hector's in a situation where it's trading a little better, or I'll just give it to you, it trades the same as Toku on a mono troop type, but with a mixed, it's game changer. It trades S plus compared to Toku at like B minus when it comes to mixed. It trades X plus with a Hera with mixed at like a B. You know, it is insane what this thing does. So you saw some of those reports. I ran a couple of reports of mine yesterday. Let me see if I can figure this out here. This was one I ran on an Attilla Subutai. It didn't last very long, but already the smite damage was just laying it down. Okay, let me come over here and look at this one. Trading about, let's see, this was mono troop type, I believe. And I didn't even start out with a full garrison, but trades about 1.7, almost 2-to-1 against this rally. And so, and you can kind of see here the reigns aren't amazing, and then it falls off at the very end, but it still crushes the rally, kills the rally, and that's how we roll. And so there's another one I want to show you guys where this thing could trade positive, even just getting destroyed by the rally. And so here it is. I have 3 reigns, and then we're just running it all the way down. Typically, when you do this with a Tokugawa garrison or a Hera garrison or anything, you're going to trade bad. Trust me, I know. I run the rallies. And even on short rallies, if the garrison doesn't get any reigns, it's going to trade bad. But look at what this thing does. It literally, and you can kind of see here, it was running some T4s. It literally trades even on a flag that burns with a Bono. NyQuil's Attilla Subutai is one of the best in the game. I mean, it's really, really good. And so from there, when this thing is showing these different scenarios where you're not even reinforcing it, you're just letting it go to burn, and it's still trading even with the garrison, or it's trading positive with the garrison. Let me see here, like it did here. And you have some serious viability with Gorgo and Hector mono troop type. I can't wait to run this thing more. I am gonna run the brakes off this thing. I am going to literally run it in this zone 6. We're still fighting here in zone 5. Guess who they call for any flag building? All last night. Chatsky, get your garrison up here. We'll run in the Hector. We can run it mono troop type, then fill with whatever we want. And so that is the garrison of choice. And it's really, really good. So that's kind of what you've got. We're going to fight this zone 7 a little bit more. You guys have the different numbers from all of my stuff. Now I will start running Hector in the field to start giving those reports, see if it runs better with BQ, see if it runs good with Achilles. I'll do that all on my second account here while my main preps for fighting for another week or two. And so I've got the fighting here. I'm going to go run Hector in the field. We're going to go have fun with this. We're going to test it and show you that. But overall, the Achilles, crushing it. Okay, it is doing so well. And then the Hector, from what we've seen so far, it is the Garrison of choice. So like it or not, that's just kind of the way it is. And so from there, you got to understand how this guy works. You got to go in, do the testing on it, see the viability, and then you got to go have the courage to go max the guy and actually put him behind Gorgo, but you're letting me do that for you. And again, my gear on Gorgo is really, really good. Okay, I don't have the KVK weapon. I don't have the ring tier 5. And so I don't run those. And then my pincer is really good. So now I can go up against these. I'm in an Imperium KVK, by the way, so everybody understands. We're going up against some of the best rallies. And so with this is how you have to test this guy. This is how you have to know, is going up against like for like, good on good. And even without reins, are you trading even or a little bit better? Even with reins, how well are you trading? And the Gorgo Tokugawa with like for like gear and armaments and all that stuff is doing insanely well. And so more to come on that. I'll have all the reports for you. I'll be doing some more live streams on my fightings. We're going to have an open zone 6, which is, I love that about Siege of Orleans KVKs. I love Zone 6 fightings. And so with that, if you guys enjoyed the video, please throw a thumbs up on here. If you have not subscribed, consider doing so. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit the bell if you want to get some of these alerts. I love you guys. I appreciate you. I want to put out this content for you and have a good time with this. Look at me. I'm 36 up here, just hammering this Zone 5. But if you enjoy that content, again, the subscribing is great. My link for the Discord is down in the description. You can join the community. People sharing reports of Achilles up there all the time, getting reports of Hector up there. So join my community with that, and we'll get out of here. We love you, broskies. We will talk to you soon, baby.